Hi, Lohani. Welcome.
Hi, hello.
Hi. Hi. How are you doing today, Lohani?
I have a little bit of a sore throat, but I'm good.
A bit of sore throat. How did that come to be?
I don't know if it's the weather, or if it's the hard work, if it's the week full of emotions.
Well, then I have good news for you, Lohani. You found yourself in the right place. This is a place where people know how to contain each other, and I'm sure we'll find a way to contain your sore throat as well.
Thank you. Thank you. But it's
Alex,
okay. I managed to take the afternoon off yesterday.
that's good.
So yeah,
It's good to know you're not overworking yourself in those situations.
I learned the hard way.
Yes, you learned that the hard way.
It's like if I keep pushing myself more, I'll end up not working at all for at least a week. So now I understand that if I take a break, a half period of the day, I will feel much better like I am today.
Yeah, yeah. And I believe, I think teacher Luana and I had this conversation a while ago. We talked about how cyclical we are as creatures, we women. We're so cyclical. We cannot keep on this forward movement all the time, can we? We must take those breaks. We must kind of take a step back in order to reappear in our full capacity.
Yes, and I was wondering, is it because of the time that we are currently living? Because when I do therapy, I'm always with my masculine energy on front of my woman. So we are always overdoing stuff that we shouldn't have been doing. So it it makes me think.
Yeah, yeah. Would you mind sharing with me what specifically masculine things do you sometimes make yourself do that don't feel natural to you?
Oh yeah, so I've been learning that it's two mentors that I have related to that stuff. So they do constellations. So we usually look back as how we were as a kid and how we see our parents today, because we can't keep looking back to the parents, because if we keep looking back, we won't um um see the direction to our future, because they were our parents and we shouldn't be their parents. And I've so what I know from my process is that we grow seeing our mother's example, and most of the time we tend to follow it. And with the masculine force is that with the 21st century, the woman wants to work, okay, as men do, but we also have to take care of the house and to be a woman and to be a wife and to be so many other things. So sometimes she says to me, okay, but you can just sit around and get into your nothing box and you just do nothing at all.
You're nothing, box. I love that.
Yeah, we have this term for Portuguese, but it's only for men. They say that they have their nothing box when they're not thinking about nothing at all, and the woman keeps asking, what are you thinking? No, just nothing. I'm in the nothing box, like leave me alone.
I love that.
Yeah. So sometimes when we push ourselves more, or when the week is full of emotions, like ups and downs, like happy and then you're worried, and then I was so excited this week, so many good things happening. We are being noticed in Goiânia. We wrote our book. We have our beginner structure English book for beginners. And then my father goes to the doctor about his surgery, and I have to go with him, and like, well, I had so many emotions throughout the week,
Yes, yes.
but we're
One
good.
one big thing I notice about this whole conundrum having to do with masculinity and femininity is like so many of the activities that we tend to do on a daily basis are very often connected with strategic thinking, and it's kind of putting our emotions on the back burner. It's as if our emotions must be, but it's kind of very difficult for a very feminine woman to be able to do if you're very sensitive, especially especially when it comes to managing people. And you manage, I know you manage people, Lahaini, because you're a leader, you're running your own language school. So how do you feel doing this? I would be really terrible at this, I would presume.
No, you know how to deal with people. You're gonna be fine. What gets me the most is the administration part, the financial part, especially now because we're going to open our face-to-face course because everyone has been asking. Until now, we have been just an online institution. And I feel as if when I get everything sorted out, it comes a new phase and I have to undo myself all over again. So because we have a new building and I'm having to pay other people like almost 20,000 reais for this. I'm like, I have to teach now because before it was okay, the pyramid, you know, we have the operational work and we have the strategic. Is that the pronunciation?
Yes, the pronunciation is strategic, but that's the only thing I can tell you for sure.
Yeah, there's this pyramid sorry, it's not a pyramid, it's a triangle. So in the bottom of the triangle, we have the operational work, usually where we at when we're teaching. But then when we have, sorry, it's my husband. He usually doesn't call me this time. Just give me.
No problem.
Okay, so usually the thing is when we start our new business, we need to get out of the operational work to the strategic work where you have to visualize your company, where you have to plan what you will do in order to grow your company and get more students. And now because of this 20,000 reais stuff that we are getting a new building, I'm having to teach. So I think that was the case, you know.
Yeah, I see. Jeff has joined. Welcome, Jeff. Jeff, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm really sorry. I completely forgot.
You're joining from a new place today, aren't you?
Yeah,
Where are you joining from?
I'm in a friend's house.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, we were keeping talking, and then oh my God, I have a class now. I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, you're almost on time. And Lahaini and I had a lovely conversation about the happenings of this week. So just maybe before we proceed, Jeff, we'd love to hear a little bit from you on your week. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Oh, my week has I have to say, my week has been amazing. Actually, the past 2-3 weeks. Today I just decided. Hello, hello, honey. Today I just decided that I will move to another country. I have applied for a PhD in the United States and was accepted. So I'll be going, yeah, by September, I'm going to move to Texas.
Sis, that's amazing. Okay, you're going to ride a horse and wear cowboy boots.
You know, but I have searched about it because when we say Texas, we have these Western like movies of cowboys,
yeah,
and the rodeo things, which is it's pretty much like a big thing there. But the specific city that I'm going, it's like a home of big techs. Like we have Apple, Microsoft, Meta, which is the owner of Facebook, Instagram. They have headquarters there. Also, it's a new one, but they still have, which I kind of enjoy. It's okay as long as I don't have to ride a horse. I mean, super scared of a horse.
Congratulations, Jeff. Very
You know
proud
what,
of you.
Lilia? It's been about 8 years he has been studying and working for that. So it's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
It is
yes.
indeed. I really hope you enjoy this first exercise that I have for you on the list. I felt like running this self-awareness exercise with you today, and I really hope you enjoy it. So here's what you're supposed to do for this one. I'm going to ask you to think and share a surprising fact that you learned about yourself recently. Like, for example, I'll put the instructions into the chat. So, for example, you thought, okay, something like this will happen and I will act like this. But then that thing actually happens and you act in a completely different way. And after that, you think to yourself, oh, okay, well, I acted not in the way that I had expected, but I acted in a completely different way, which is very interesting. So what does that tell me about myself? Just to give a personal example, a couple of days ago, my husband asked me to go to a shop alone, and that's not something that I enjoy very much, especially in the conditions we're in. And I kind of imagined coming to the shop and being very reserved and non-talkative in the shop and not talking to anyone. But when I got there, I looked at people's faces, they were smiling, and I started smiling as well. And I suddenly got very social, like instantly. And that was very genuine for me. So what I learned about myself was that I can actually get social naturally at will when I am around people. So even if I think that I can't do it, that I can't be social, I can't be happy around people, I can, because that's my nature. So that was interesting. And I'd love to ask you to look through this task in the chat and share something about yourself. So you can take it. Yes,
Lilia,
Jeff. Yes.
yesterday I thought that group of amazing women that you have been
Yeah, I
in
know
a
them.
meeting
Yeah,
together,
they're
I did an
fantastic.
activity exactly like that.
Oh, there you go. What a
With them.
synchronicity. That's amazing. Now
Yes,
time to run it on yourself.
yes, exactly. This is synchronicity, by a young perspective. Yes, yes. I was thinking, oh my God. I asked the same thing. I just asking a little bit in a different way, like what they have, what they felt, what they feel about recently of a decision that they have taken that made their perspective something sort of like that.
Wow. Wow, that's lovely. Were you inspired by your experience in some way while planning this activity for them?
What?
Were you inspired by your own experience while you were planning that activity? Because I can sense that such activities very often stem from our own experience. You know, when something.
Yes, it is. It is. I like to bring. I like to connect with my students' experience as the same way I like to show them some connection with my experiences. So it gets personalized. I think my perspective by
Yeah.
that. But actually it was kind of this activity that I worked with them yesterday was kind of an idea from Lohanes. Lohane sent me an activity. I said, oh, okay, I have to work this. So then I gave a second look. No, maybe I can adapt to this, to that. So it was kind of from Lohane's idea.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I actually think that one of the best ways about being a teacher is that you can be very observant in your life, and then you can convert anything into an activity. You notice something interesting about your experience, and then you kind of frame it into a question that helps your students become more aware, so they don't have to kind of naturally go through that situation. They can kind of foresee it. They can kind of go through it specifically thanks to you as a teacher. So that's very interesting. So would any of you like to begin sharing a surprising fact?
Lohane, do you want me to start? Because yesterday, as I taught this topic, I already gave it as first an example for myself. So
I'm struggling. I have to surprise you the thing, but I'm still Yeah, go ahead.
Just-
Maybe you will kind of come up with ideas as we keep talking.
Yeah, you will.
Sometimes ideas
Just think
emerge.
about something easy. Yeah. For example, in the past months, especially the couple of past months, I have been lost weight, but in a very healthy way. And most part of this weight is fat, which is good to lose weight, losing fat. And I understand a little bit about how the process works, especially because of my background, how this work. But specifically about exercising, I thought that I wasn't capable of keeping an exercising routine at home, because I mean exercising but not going to the gym, which most of people um, they rely on going to the gyms to exercise, not losing weight, but to just specifically to exercise. And I've recently realized and was surprised, like, wow, it is working. Like, I mean, starting to define, to make a definition in some muscle groups, and it's working well. I'm feeling good. Like, wow, like I thought that I wasn't capable of doing that, and I'm doing this. And what I did to reach that, I think it was mostly I was attentive to learn which which is possible for me to work and to exercise, to work out and exercise at home, and also being consistent with that. Like there are some days I maybe I'm not. I don't want to do a full exercise today. Okay, but I'm gonna do at least 20% of days, but I'm gonna do something. So I think it's consistency, and also um, uh, searching good information about what is possible for me to exercise at home.
Right.
It's
So you
kind of
learned
that.
like, I think what you learned, it sounds by the sound of it, like you learned you learned that you can uphold a practice consistently,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Yes,
don't
yes,
drop it, you
yeah,
don't toss it, but you can be
yeah,
disciplined.
yeah.
But we all
To
know
be
that
more
about you, Jeff,
yeah. No,
from
but to
our
be more
past. Yeah.
specifically, it's not just like upholding this practice, but I've realized that I'm able to effectively define muscles by doing a home workouts.
Oh yeah, there you go. Don't even need to go to the gym to do that, or a professional. You can do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Lohani, I'd really love to hear from you. Has anything emerged for you?
Not really. Can I just comment on something that Jeff said?
Sure.
I think that patience is a part of that, because I remember that he had so much patience with himself, and he is always seeking for self-knowledge. So when he wasn't feeling well, when he wasn't 100%, he would try to understand what that was so that he could keep going on. And this is a strong characteristics that teacher Jeff has with everything that he puts his hands on.
Lohani, can I modify this question for you a little bit, given that you find it kind of challenging to respond to it in this way? Maybe you can't remember anything. Do you always know how you will respond to a given situation in your life? Can you do you feel like you can predict what your response is going to be to some of the most basic life situations? Maybe this is something that you have achieved through therapy. That is an important achievement for many people.
Right. Not always. So for instance, today, something happened that I wasn't expecting. So I always know how I want to act and how I want to say things. So I bear it in mind, and then I'll perform the action. But today I took part in a I had to translate simultaneously from Portuguese to English, English to Portuguese. And to me, everything was fine. I was ready to live this moment. It was my first experience. And because it was my first experience, their boss that also spoke English And Portuguese, there was a time that she entered and she kind of corrected me or the other person. And then from that on, I was nervous. I wasn't, it's like it got my confidence and it threw it away, you know. I was like, oh, but this is something that I wasn't expecting. Her being there and me getting nervous. And I think it's because of the first experience, but yeah. And there was also another situation that I went as I expected, which was completely new. So I went to a meeting with 4 influent men that they disclose information about courses in Goiânia. I was so nervous, but I also knew how I wanted to be there, and everything went fine, even though I was nervous. So it was 2 great big situations that I had to control myself a lot.
These are amazing examples for this activity, by the way, because to me it sounds like the common element was getting nervous at some point, but still seeing the situation through successfully, finishing the translation, and also kind of going through this meeting and learning so much about how business is run in Goiânia. So what does that tell you about yourself? The fact that you got nervous and then you saw them through those situations.
I always carry this with me. It doesn't matter how much you know, you have to keep on learning.
Oh, that's a very good conclusion, by the way. A very
About
realistic one.
self-confidence. It's to me, it all ends up in self-confidence. Today, I do believe thank God, I'm a great person and a great professional. But I'm being exposed to different scenarios, which might bring this kind of feeling, and I just have to do like Jeff does, like, you know, look at from the outside, analyze, see what I felt, how can I adjust some things, and that's it.
Yeah. Wow, I love how deep you went with the reflection on this situation, you know, because honestly, I also personally, I get, even though I have this confidence in terms of my professionalism, just like you do, I always get nervous before every single meeting, before every single lesson. I really wondered, do you, Lohane, and do you, Jeff, how do you feel when you're entering a meeting? It doesn't matter how long I've known that person, I still get a little nervous as if I'm meeting them for the first time. It never goes away. What about you?
Jeff, if you want to go on, because you lifted up your...
No, yes, great question, because what I'm about to answer for this question is what I wanted to also correlate, like when you ask Lohane how to prepare or how to feel prepared for those situations, things like that. It's interesting because normally I like to prepare myself a lot for situations that I'm able to see the whole scenario, even if I'm not able to understand the specific details. But for example, I'm gonna get Lohane's experience of doing a simultaneously translation, which I think it's something not easy to do. So congratulations for that. And if it was me, I would say, okay, have I done something similar there? Let me check this. If how is it made? So I feel comfortable. I still can get nervous to a specific new experience, but if I have at least seen or conjured how it might be, I can feel nervous, and I am okay feeling nervous, but I know that I'm going to make things work. However, yesterday I was realizing something about myself, because besides having all those great news throughout those last weeks, yesterday I have a terrible news. Something, it's not something like like threatening. It's not something like that, but it was something serious and bad news. And it was something that I wasn't able to see all the scenarios or have a look, a grasp of what it looks like. Neither it was in my control. And I have a history with anxiety, and I'm dealing pretty much well, like in the past 2 years, and learning how to control it. And yesterday, I realized that something. I'm not. I always thought that I could be prepared, or I could train myself and prepare my mind when I have situations like what happened yesterday, to have to respond differently by having a different emotion. For example, instead of yesterday, what happened, instead of having at first an anxiety feeling, I could already have like a peaceful feeling. But yesterday I started to get anxiety with that. But by my surprise, it's not that I realized, no, Jefferson, we cannot prepare ourselves to have instantly different emotions. But I was able to hold it, okay, all right, that's okay. So before it gets bigger, I said, no, I cannot control this. So I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do, there are something important that I need to do with first. I'm going to work this. And it was like I was still feeling mostly anxiety, but I was so holding it back naturally and maturely that it didn't affect me. And I think that was something that I realized yesterday. I said, okay, I can feel anxiety. I can feel anxious about something. That's okay. That's totally normal. I just need how to hold it back and not affect me negatively.
Oh, that's amazing, Jeff, what you shared. It sounds like you created some distance between yourself and this anxiety, and you were witnessing the anxiety rather than getting enmeshed with this anxiety and kind of trying to navigate your way out of your anxiety. So it was just a very powerful position. Lohania,
Yes,
sorry.
yeah. Just compliment.
Yes.
Yes, you said two words like that define it very well. I felt in a powerful position, like, okay, I cannot create a new reaction naturally. This is something that provokes me, provokes me to be anxious. But I can get a distance from this, and this is very powerful.
Yeah. It's like the more you direct your attention to the anxiety in not in this witnessing fashion, because this is a new position that you are talking about, but the more you start bathing in this anxiety and wallowing in this anxiety, the more it builds up, and anxiety is multiplied suddenly, and you're like in this massive sea of anxiety in its stormy waters. So yes, that's very powerful. Lohani, I really wonder what, like, we have digressed a little bit from the original question, and that was do lessons does the process of the entering into a lesson make you nervous ever, even though you might have, even if you might have kind of seen this student for a very long time? And then if you have anything to say on anxiety, just go ahead.
I do get, usually when the student is new, and when I try to when I prepare something really out of the box and I get excited, and it comes with the feeling, oh, how is it going to be? Is it going to make sense for the student? Because we know that sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it does. So especially in those situations.
Yeah.
And with regards to anxiety, I know Jeff, wow, Jeff, congratulations. You are in your best moment. You know, we have been talking about this, like I'm in my best moment.
In your best moment. So what does that mean?
I think I think you can explain better than me, but I think that everything is reflecting on your hard work. Not only the reflection of your hard work, but also how you feel and how you understand things, how they happen. Because we've been through a time where we really wanted something badly and that thing didn't happen at that time, and it was really hard to understand. Now it's completely understandable why it happened, why it didn't happen, why it's happening now. So it's about us being in our full capacity to perform, things that we have wished for, basically.
Yes, it's like you're at this apogee, you're at this pinnacle, at the peak, and you're actually aware of it, because so many, I feel like very often I may be unaware that I'm on my peak, and being aware of it is just a cherry on top of the cake. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, given all that, I hope that you enjoy my next activity that I have in store for us today. And this activity is hopefully going to empower your lives. Hopefully, I have applied it to myself. I find it very empowering, and it's basically a coaching activity. So I hope you have fun doing it. I'm going to ask you this question right now. How much X do you need in your life to feel happy, from 1 to 10? I will tell you what the X stands for. So right now, I will just name different things that the X stands for. Like, for example, risk, creativity, spontaneity, good food, physical comfort.
Money.
Money. Thank you, Jeff. Exactly. Achievement, professional achievement, stuff like this. And there will also be kind of a little more niche things to explore as well. So I hope you enjoy reflecting on this. So whenever I say a thing, just give it a mark in your mind, where 1, you don't need much of it to feel that happy, and 10, you absolutely need it. That's an absolute necessity for you in life to feel happy. Okay? And every one of us is really, really specific, and like we need different things to be happy in life. So exploring ourselves in this regard, I think, is a very beneficial thing to do. So shall we begin? The first thing that we're going to explore is autonomy. How much autonomy do you need to feel happy? And whenever you're ready to speak up, you can just start speaking. Autonomy.
From 1 to 10, right?
From 1 to 10, yes.
That's interesting. I would give it 7.
7 for you, Jeff. Okay. Can
7.
you justify that? Tell us more.
Yes, I can.
Why is it a 7?
And it's interesting for me to even think how I classify this as 7. I always have been so independent. I like my independency in many areas of my life. But I think I'm able to give up or to resign a little bit of my autonomy if I think it at the end comes up with a nice environment. If I feel happy resigning a little bit of my autonomy, that's fine. However, give it 7, which is more than half. Like I don't need to have autonomy in total. That's fine for me, even because I am aware that I cannot control everything. But I don't want to be a part and let everybody to take all the decisions for me. That's why I put 7, a little bit above the average or the half of it.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Lahaini, what about you?
It's funny because I was thinking about the environment and the kind of people that I share my life with as well. So to me, yeah, I was actually I thought of a 6, a little bit more than a half. Because where I don't have autonomy, if I feel comfortable and if I agree, that's fine. If I don't, I just leave. So like if it's something that really how do I say incomodar in English? If it
Get bored. Get bored.
gets to
No,
me,
no.
gets to me, right?
Yes, yes.
It
If it's
gets to, it just means that it kind of, you get fed up with this thing.
Yes.
yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
so to me, I have really found myself in leadership because I love when they give their opinions and when we can think. So actually, I have been seeing this as if everyone can decide together and get into a consent, it comes, something comes powerful. So yeah, and makes me think of the roles as well, like autonomy in general. It's harder for me to define because I think in autonomy in my relationship, in family, with company. So that's why I think 6 is, it's okay.
Wow, that's interesting. So 6 for you, Lahaini, 7 for you, Jeff. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
you know, Lilia, I
Yeah.
am able to give you this number 7. I think now because I'm immature. If I was younger, like a very young adult, I would give like almost 10 or 10.
Oh yeah, 10.
Uh,
Okay.
if I was very young, because I think I think no, I was naive. Maybe because I understand now that full autonomy isn't real. Full
Mm,
autonomy. And sometimes there are things that we think it's ours, that we thought about it, we wanted, it's our desire, it's our position of that, and sometimes it's not. It's something that we just learned that we thought that is ours. Maybe it's something from the culture. So that's why I think it's good to realize that we cannot have a full autonomy, and it's okay, but also giving up everything, it's not fine as well.
Yeah, like they say, no man is an island. Anyway, you will always use something made by other people. I haven't made my own PC hand and heart. Therefore, like saying that that would be a 10 would be a lie. Now, the next thing that I want you to think about is physical comfort. How much physical comfort from 1 to 10 do you need in life to feel happy?
I'm not 100% aware of the definition of physical comfort in this
The
sentence.
comfort for your body.
Okay.
Like, yes, feeling comfortable what you wear, where you're sitting, making sure that your body is feeling good. Maybe you could even tie in the notion of health into physical comfort, if you like. So these are very broad notions, and feel free to interpret them in the way that feels natural to you.
Great. So can I start?
Yes, Lahaini.
Because to me, it makes sense, the health, being healthy. Like, how do you define your current state in life? I'm so happy. I feel that I've reached my success. I just gotta handle things. And with that comes take time for myself. But being healthy to me makes me joyful and grateful during the whole day, because people are always saying, "Oh, you're happy all the time. You're so energetic." And I feel down when I'm not good, when I'm not healthy. So to me, that would be a 10. It really, to me, everything depends on that.
Yeah. Jeff, what about you?
I would give 10 as well. For me, I kind of feel that I'm a little bit narcissistic person. Not that much, but a little bit. I like about body itself. I like to feel comfortable with my body, and that's very interesting because sometimes I think that I need to get down to earth. Because when I was in different shapes of my body, I still pretty much like enjoy myself. Of course, if I made changes, it's because I wanted or I wasn't fully satisfied. And recently, very, very recently, I have made this union of like physical health with feeling comfortable with your appearance. And I never have a thought about it. So no, this is something essential also for me to feel comfortable. And that's something that boosts my mood in a positive way. So that's why I would give a 10.
Yeah, okay, wow, that's very interesting. How about this? Now, the third thing that I want to get you to think about is spontaneity. How much does it matter to you to be able to be spontaneous? For example, just taking off at any given point, being able to do whatever you like at any given point. So once again, you can interpret these terms in the way that you think is correct, because they're very broad terms and everyone has their own definition of it. For me, spontaneity is, for example, an opportunity to decide what I want to do on a given day, or like waking up and feeling like I have a lot of freedom just ahead and I can do whatever I like with my time. For example, that would be my definition of spontaneity. So what do you have to say about spontaneity?
Lohan, you can start, Lohan.
Ooh, 9 or 10. Spontaneity to me is related to me being who I am. So what is like an answer I give, how I treat, how I say, I'm a very effective person when I'm face to face with people. So asking how they are, and sometimes it's hard for me in different environments where you have to change the way you have to be more formal because of this and that. So it really comes to me about being myself, in actions, not because this kind of, there is a let me read. There's a famous quote in Brazil here, because people say, oh, I'm like this, so everyone has to accept it. No, it's not this kind of just not changing the way you are, how you act, not trying to be in another box that doesn't suit you.
Yes, I really love that interpretation. The freedom to be yourself at all occasions. Jeff, what about you?
I would give a 3.
A 3?
3.
You're very low on spontaneity.
Yes.
Okay.
No, spontaneity, it's something that one of the things that I really admire in situations and people who are spontaneous. It's something that I really admire, and I think it's something really good. I like to be spontaneous, but I like to decide to be spontaneous. What are the moments, and when you first make this question, I had a specific example in my life that represents this. Why I appreciate so much this, but I don't want this so often in my life. Like traveling, I love traveling. And I think when I am traveling, I really can live this experience of the freedom to be myself, like Lohan said. But I get sick of very, very soon. Like for example, if I'm traveling, I don't like to travel too much. I don't like, I miss the routine and the order. I'm not saying that Lohani doesn't have a routine. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Or that just having a routine is something that makes me feel good. But I think spontaneity for me, it should be something once in a while. Otherwise, I don't feel comfortable, because I'm kind of controlling. I like to be in control of some situation things. So I think if it's too much, I cannot play this role of controlling.
Yes, about English teachers, very often they say that you must be, how do you put it, like intelligently spontaneous, or you should premeditate the activities in such a way that your students see that as completely spontaneous, and they go, oh my goodness, this teacher is genius when it comes to thinking on their feet. But in fact, what they do is they premeditate everything. So it's like this pre-planned spontaneity that you interweave in your lessons. That's beautiful. Okay, well, let's move on to another one. How about this one? I really wonder what you think about this one. So this one is fame. How much fame do you need to feel happy? You can also interpret it as public recognition, for example, for whatever you do.
Oh God, it's hard for me to answer. As a company, I have an answer, and as a person, I have another answer.
Can you share both with us, Lahaini?
So as a company, as a school, we need fame, as in people to notice us, being noticed and known for what we do. But as a person, too, that would be my number two. It's important to me, it's important how I feel inside. If I
Yeah,
have fame or not, it doesn't matter, but it's how I feel from the inside.
yeah, yeah.
But
By the way,
for the couple, it would be a 10. Sorry.
yeah, I think that's a great distinction you're making, Lahaini. I would relate to that. Jeff, what do you think?
I was thinking in a duo also, but I was thinking in recognition from the others and self-recognition.
Okay.
And recognition from the others, I think I would say 8. I like to be recognized and to have a fame for something that I'm doing, not because of the thing itself, but because I like to do things that I like to work in things that are growing or has a meaning. Because even if it's good for my ego, I know also that I never like it to be happy alone. I always like
Yeah.
to have my friends, my community. When I'm with my students, for example, when my students evolving something, and I feel happy for this person as the same way I feel happy for myself. Okay, it's working. It's what we are doing, and this is like a kind of a fool for me. And recently, I have learned how to do and for this, the recognition from the others, I would put 8. It's something that I valued, but it's not my total. I value very much, but it's not something that I couldn't live without. But self-recognition, I have it has moved the pointer from like lower to higher, and I think now fame, um, like a jet looking inside, looking by itself, I would put 10. But because it has been important for me to learn that I have to recognize what I'm doing and to congratulate myself for what I'm doing, even when I'm not doing it perfectly. So I think it from inside 10, from outside 8.
Yeah, wow, very interesting. Okay, let's do this one. Meaningful impact on society. Meaningful impact on society. Having some impact on society. Oh, we know, Jeff. I think I'm the cockiest one here, honestly. Sometimes when I communicate with people, I just feel like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't say the word I too much. So what about making a contribution, having some impact on society, changing the world for the better? How much does that idea make you
I would
happy?
like to. Can I start, Lohane,
Sure.
this
Yeah,
question?
go on, Jeff.
Yes,
Or
please.
answer. This morning I had an interview with from one of my applications in Boston, and we were talking about teaching. And this is the reason I am a teacher. I am a teacher. I decided to be a teacher. I feel proud to be a teacher. I really do. It's not something that I becoming to learn how to love it. I always wanted to do this. And I think the best way that I contribute and do a meaningful impact on societies is by teaching, and not in a lower perspective, actually in a higher perspective. Not for me itself, teacher Jeff, but being a teacher, I feel honored, and that's what I said to the person that I was in the interview this morning. He said, oh, some students, they have to teach, but they don't enjoy it. I said, no, it's quite the opposite for me. What I'm doing, what I'm working, I feel so thrilled to share with my students something like that, and I think that I could impact their lives with the teaching experience. And I like to bring this to my English classes as well. We focus on English, but always at the same time that we are focusing learning the language and all the characteristics related to the language also can be a powerful tool to bring other questions to the classes that could impact positively my students. I feel good when I feel my students leaving the classes by the end feeling good as well. So I feel proud of being teacher.
So I feel like that's a 10 for you.
It is. I didn't mention, but it is. It is.
Yes. Okay. Lahaini, what about you?
I'm divided because society to me is too big. Like so I've had this dream before. Today I don't have it anymore. Today is like, to me it's people in general, I know, but it's easier for me to digest when it's a one-to-one person, even though Jeff knows how much I want to help people to learn English, how many terrible experience I've heard today from a student. She wants to be a student of ours. She's from Portugal, and she was in a place where she was trying to speak English, and because she spoke Portuguese, her language, the teacher gave her a star on her forehead, and she's 34 years old. Oh, this is because you spoke your native language, and this kind of stuff to me is crazy, and I want to hug this person and show this person a different way, but I wouldn't like the impact in society, not to me. No, I don't want it. I want to change small things, even though what we're doing is kind of big in English Without Borders, but I don't want this society name. People want one of the I mean overall is I want to help those who want to be helped. Like,
yeah.
But you know what, Lohane, I remember also the first time when I lived in the United States, I was talking with a student. He was a brilliant student. He was cocky, I remember. And he said, how we are talking about, for example, environmental changes, climate changes, and changes in the environment and how it impact society. And then he asked me this question: how can you make changes? No, how can you impact or make a meaningful impact on society and people's lives to help in those changes or to reduce those changes? And then I said, as a teacher, it can be or doing something, because I think significant changes are, of course, there are changes with a huge impact. And I said, no, maybe sometimes just for me doing a selective way of my trash and my disposal, I'm enjoying an impact. And the dimension of this impact, that depends on the perspective you give it to it. So when you say a meaningful impact on society, I think I feel honored being as a teacher, because it increases my reach of impact. But sometimes I feel that I can impact the students, Lohane and Lilia, without having the result that I wanted. And I still can have some impact. And I have thought about it. because sometimes we expect, which is not, it's not a problem. Sometimes we expect people to have a specific outcome, or we picture this, and sometimes that doesn't happen. But maybe something inside of the person has just led this person to have second thought about a specific thing, and this could be a significant, a meaningful impact, I think.
Yes, even if they say the opposite, they may go, no, I disagree. I don't think, no, I will never do that. That's like bullshit. But then like in 1 year, you are having a conversation with that person, and maybe you can tell that the changes have been happening to them. Well, finally, to finish our conversation, I'm going to ask you one final question today. And now that we have talked about the things that make us happy, I want you to specifically decide on a couple of things that make you unhappy. Specifically for me, for example, I really, what makes me very unhappy is arguing about petty stuff. You know, who left a bag somewhere, who left his socks somewhere, why the phone is, why the kind of the screen is not blocked, like who forgot to switch off that button. That is very petty stuff. And when people start arguing about it, and I find myself as one of the characters who is arguing about that stuff, I can feel my energy kind of dripping out of my body, like flooding out of my body, flowing away. So I really wonder, what makes you very unhappy?
It was just funny the way you were explaining, because I just had a picture of it. Like it's really something that bothers you. I don't know, Lohane, you can start this one.
Oh yes, I will say this really gets on my nerves when someone is impolite without no reason, out of the nothing. This, I changed myself 100%. I got in an argument this week in my apartment with a man, two old men, like 40s, 50 something, not old, but they were mature. They were supposed to be mature. And out of the nothing, I was in the gym, and they just were so rude with my brother, Ryan, which is 13. They didn't see me. And they just started, like, Ryan asked, are you using this? Could I use it? And then they said, do you even know how to use it? Do you even know the name? And then I was like, huh? I completely changed. There's an expression in Portuguese, Lilia, for women, like, I get down off my high heels. I just,
Yes, I get this.
Impolite. I change completely. This really gets on my nerves with no reason, without no reason.
Yes, when people are rude. Yeah.
I know something.
Go ahead, Jeff.
While you were thinking, I also came up with an expression for it. I don't like false alarm. False alarm.
False alarm.
False alarm. I'm gonna explain what is false alarm for me. It really drives me nuts when someone is very cocky and is talking too much about what he is or he can do, but in fact it's not that. That gets me. That's a false alarm for me. Like, okay, you can flatter yourself a lot if you are, if you deserve it, if you are all this that you are telling that you are, that's okay. Okay, all right, you have the right to do this. But if you do a false alarm and say, no, I'm wasting my time with this person, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. This person is just like a representation of a fake news for me. No, I don't like it.
Oh, that is very funny. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation that we've had today, and I'm going to wish you a great week ahead. I hope you have a fun weekend, Jeff. All the best to you right now that you are at this peak, that you're having the big moment. Am I using the phrase right? You're enjoying the big moment. And Lahaini, I'm wishing you all the best with this new building that you are currently moving to. And if I can see a photo at some point, I would be very grateful. So if you could just drop me, like I imagine it in my own way, but I'm always surprised to see how things actually look. So please do send me a picture from the inside and the outside. I will.
Lohani is a true alarm. Okay, she can be cocky about what she who she is and what she's doing.
So Lahaini, you're a true alarm. Yes, we.
Yes.
I believe we. Cool. Well, all right. Thank you so much for your time, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. And say hello to Alex. I'm looking forward to seeing him too.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.